Hello YouTube, De-bodgery here. Welcome to EV Components Review. This is kind of a status update on stuff that's going on that kind of been left in a limbo state. So I'll start with this right here. So here's my Torp controller. 2 days ago, the connectors, they're 1.27 millimeter spacing for those pins that used to be soldered into the board. The connectors arrived, so I soldered those in place, and then I could slide those connectors right over top of the pin headers that are in the power stage. Doing so also meant that the logic board now sat a little higher than it did before. So I had to add some washers in here and solder them all together. They're brass washers to create a little bit of a gap in there. And that also, of course, made the 3-phase studs just flush with the top of the logic board. So because people have given me Suron and Teleria controllers, I think these are from a Suron controller. I used the standoffs from one of those, so these are all the same height. These ones just look taller because they're sitting on top of the standoffs, but I used 5 of those from a Suron controller, and I soldered a piece of brass thread in the bottom of them so I could thread all the way through from here all the way down to there because the original screws were now too short. And that way I've got these nice standoffs on here thanks to some Suron hardware. So yeah, that's all good to go. These are all locked in pretty tight. They're not going anywhere. And now I can get back to doing hacking on this. And that should be coming soon with further results from that. It just got set aside because I was waiting for those connectors to come in. All right, so here is my torn down TP128 bare stator, all ready to roll. I've relabeled everything correctly now. Here is 3 of the 6 phases that are going to go on here. And I've, let's see, I pulled one of the 3 phases last week, and then the other 2 I pulled them tonight. So now as soon as those 3 are wound on there, then I'll do the same thing. Probably I'll start winding this on here tomorrow. And then I'll start pulling 3 more sets of phases and put them on my winding board and transfer them to over here too. So that'll put all 6 phases onto the stator. Then I can do some testing to make sure that there's not, like, say, a winding short or, I did something stupid, which is certainly possible. Everybody makes mistakes, including myself. So yeah, check all that kind of stuff out. And then once that's all done, then I can tin all the ends and start connecting things together to effectively make a single dual Y motor out of that stuff running at 875 phase amps and 32 kilowatts. That should be super impressive. So the last 2 things to talk about is this. So people that want a TP128, yours won't come quite like this because I've swapped out the phase wires on this one, and I've also added a temp sensor to it. But people that want a TP128, or several of them, and you are in the US or Canada, I am Richard Gumfaw on Facebook. So contact me on there, and I can add you to the group buy. Right now I have 30 motors, so that's a pretty good number. That makes each motor coming out to $135 a piece, including shipping to me. So the motor is $88 of that, and the rest is shipping, to me. So yeah, I'm not making a dime on the thing. That's literally my cost on them. If I get more, then the price drops a little bit, possibly. But yeah, I've got 30 going right now. So people that have already requested one, please contact me, Richard Gumfaw, on Facebook. Or if you're elsewhere, you already know how to contact me there. And please get me your money so that I can put in the order, because we're ready to roll. And if there's more people, well, you've got a short opportunity to get involved with that as well. So anyway, TP128s, this is the same motor that Lightning Rod sells as the XXL. And those new ones that I'm getting, those are the 1800 watt versions, not the 15s or 1600 watts like this one is. So they're a little bit longer, not a lot, but a little bit. So I don't know if that matters to anybody. It doesn't matter to me, but I'd rather have the higher power one than this one here, which is still pretty good. But anyway, yeah, we're getting the 1800 watt version, and contact me ASAP about that because, well, the order's going in pretty quick. All right, so enough of that. Let me pull this aside. And one last thing, which is QS165v2s. So people, if you have them and you wish to sell them to me for a very reasonable price, or you would possibly like to send me one for a rewind once I start doing that simulation, Wagner has already agreed to do it. It's just a matter of us getting the TP128 done, and then we can start on QS165v2 simulations. But I'm pretty darn sure it's going to be pretty amazing what we end up doing with a QS165v2 motor. Anyway, he'll get one of them. I currently have 2 in my possession, and 2 more are on their way to me. And, you know, more is better. So if you want to get involved with that, I would definitely like to buy your QS165 V2s if you have them for, you know, a reasonable price, or if you want to send me one and pay me to wind one for you, that's always a possibility as well. In fact, one of the 2 that is being shipped to me right now is going to get that done to it for the guy that's sending them to me. So he's giving me a motor to get another one wound. So, you know, we're bartering, which is perfectly fine with me. If you want to do that and you want to send me 2 motors so that you can get one wound for you, and then I keep the other one for whatever I do with it, that is absolutely A-okay. That's a great way to do things. I don't mind doing that at all. Anyway, so that's where things are with that. If you would possibly like to get involved with a QS165 group buy, I am very early in to making that happen. I don't know exactly how it's going to play out because pricing is still getting worked out and things like that. But hopefully I will have more information on that later. And like the QS165 that fits your Surons and Talarias, which is probably going to be useful to a lot of people that have those kinds of EVs. For me, I don't really care. I would use the motor on just about anything. Don't really need it to be on a Suron or whatever. Not for my uses. But yeah, a lot of people think that's the only EV on the planet, and well, I disagree, because I know for a fact there is lots of other ones that I like a lot more. So anyway, yeah, if you've got a Suron, that's definitely a good-sized motor for you, and for your form factor. You just bolt it in and go, pretty much. For other people like me who need to machine a bracket for mounting it or whatever, well, I find that challenge much more interesting. I don't look at a Suron or a Tulare as all that interesting or all that challenging, because it's just all bolt together. Whereas something where I have to build it, to me, that's a lot more fun, because there's the design challenges, there's machining parts, you know, there's making things work together that were never intended to work together, and ending up with a completely successful and very reliable EV at the end of it. So anyway, that's where my QS165s will go. And where you use yours, I don't know. But yeah, I'm trying to work out a group buy for those. And maybe some people will get involved with that. So again, you can PM me about that. You know, again, if you want to barter for a rewound one for much more power, we can work that out. But that's not done yet. That's not ready yet. The simulations haven't really been done. Wagner and I have talked about it, and he's excited about doing it, but that's coming down the road. That's not until after I get this TP128 rewound and running, which you'll get to see. That's all going to happen. And yeah, this is a fairly mundane thing to wind a motor. It's just, you know, being careful and not making mistakes. That's pretty much it. And make sure that you pull out all the loops and stuff like that. Otherwise, it's a thing that anybody can do. It's really not that hard to wind a motor. I would say Wagner's part is probably the hard part, because, you know, he's actually the guy who understands motors far better than I do. And he has the very expensive software to do those simulations. So anyway, expect more in the TP128. Again, contact me if you want a TP128 from the group buy. If you've already requested one, please pay me so we can get that order in and get the thing moving down the road, so that those motors can come to me. I am having them shipped by air freight rather than by sea freight, so that they get to me in about 10 days' time. Air freight is much more expensive than sea freight, but sea freight takes like 90 days plus. So yeah, air freight makes a lot more sense just because of the timeliness of it. Anyway, yeah, hope that helps some folks out. There's not much more to say right now. I am busy working on several things at once, as is usual, and that's why you haven't seen anything on video for a while. Because, well, I've been busy doing other things. Anyway, take care, folks. Talk to you later. Bye.